was previously an executive at Google for 12 years and was recently served as the founding director of Google's News Lab. He has built teams in over a dozen countries and launched partnerships in over 50 countries, including a global technology training effort that trained over 500,000 people every year. Grove also led Google's civic engagement work, including the company's nonpartisan voter information and get out the vote outreach efforts. In addition, he previously led YouTube's first news and politics team. Prior to joining Google, Commissioner Grove wrote for the Boston Globe and for ABC News. He has served as an advisor to the White House and State Department on counterterrorism strategy, and serves on the advisory board of Witness, a human rights nonprofit, and Report for America, a nationwide service organization to improve local news. Commissioner Grove holds a master's in public policy from the Harvard Kennedy School and a BA in philosophy, politics, and economics from Claremont McKenna College. He is an international security fellow at the New America Foundation and co-founded a nonprofit with his wife, Mary, called Silicon North Stars, which helps youth from underserved communities in Minnesota pursue careers in technology. The Groves currently live in Minneapolis with their 2-year-old twins. Please join me in welcoming Commissioner Steve Grove.
Well, thank you, Ron. Thank you for being here today. It's a real pleasure to be in Bemidji. Thank you, Mayor Albrecht, for hosting this great gathering in your amazing city. We got here a little bit earlier this morning, had a chance, as I think many of you did, to tour Delta Dental, that exciting development over there in the technology park. Great to stop by with Dave and his team at Greater Bemidji and check out Launchpad, which is a really interesting startup space that the Bemidji community there has built as well. So it's really amazing to see the thriving community Bemidji is building and the growth they've experienced, and really the thoughtful economic development strategies that we're putting into place here in Bemidji to be a great place to live and work. Thank you to all of you for being here today, and thank you to the Coalition for all the work you do on behalf of Greater Minnesota. The elected leaders in this room, the city managers, the finance directors, you are at the heart of what makes government work. This is a room of decision makers. For me, having come from the private sector, I'm used to being in rooms of decision makers, people that can get things done. And I'll tell you, sometimes state government feels a little bit different than that. Not too much, but sometimes a little bit. So it's good to be in a room of people who every day are making decisions and moving quickly to great cities for people in Minnesota. It's such a great place to live and work. I'm thrilled to be here today. As Ron said, I run the Department of Employment and Economic Development for Minnesota. And our mission is really simple. It's to empower the growth of the Minnesota economy for everyone. And we are in the middle of a really neat moment in our state's economy, and one of the things we're thinking about as we come into this role with the new administration and new governor is, what is DEE's role in growing our state economy? Obviously it's the businesses and entrepreneurs of our state that are the engine of our growth. What is government's role in that sector? And where can we fill the gaps that the private sector is not incentivized to fill? And that basic kind of philosophical orientation to how we're going to grow our state economy is we've got to bring into our work every day as we grow the work of DEE. And really at the core of that work is making sure that the Minnesota way of life can thrive and that communities that are outside of the metro can grow and prosper in a way such that our talent that we move to big cities can have opportunity. And everyone in this room knows that is the case. So this is the first time I've met with all of you. I thought I'd share a little bit of my background with all of you. I come from Greater Minnesota myself. I grew up in Northfield, Minnesota. Town motto, I don't know if it was on your list, is cows, colleges, and contentment. Home to Carleton College. And grew up there, graduated in about 1996, and since high school left the state, and have been out of the state for about the last 20 years. I spent some time abroad, in Japan teaching English, in India doing some volunteer work, and then back in the States, spent some time as a journalist on the East Coast, and then found a new career direction in technology on the West Coast. So the past 12 years I've worked at Google. My wife out there, she also worked at Google. We had twins, and like every good Minnesotan, that microchip went off in my brain and said, all right, time to move back. We got to be near the fold, and so we moved back to Minnesota about a year ago. And it's been just such a pleasure to come back here, and I think Elizabeth Frost, my team today, who's in the back, who runs our Comms and Research Department, also just moved back to the Midwest from DC. She grew up in Winona. And for those of us who come here, there's a real sense of pride of being in Minnesota. And for those of us who come from smaller towns, a real sense of pride in a small town way of life and in a community-centered way of life. And so we're thrilled to be back and thrilled to be in a position to help grow our state's economy for me in this new role under Governor Walz and Lieutenant Governor Flanagan. Having the benefit of growing up here and then leaving and then coming back, I have a little bit of Minnesota in my blood, but I also just bring a bit of a fresh set of eyes to our state and where we're at. And that's been, I think, an advantage to me coming into government, just to have that kind of fresh pair of eyes. I don't get that often in life, and I really try to lean into that. And I have to say, there's a lot about our state's economy to be impressed about. Incredibly diverse economy, really rich workforce, amazing talent base, highest concentration of Fortune 500s of any metro area in the country and statewide. I think we're third overall, so there are a tremendous amount of advantages that our state has economically. When you look, though, at this moment we are in human history, we believe that we're at an inflection point, and that when you look at the states and the cities that are truly growing, and they're taking advantage of this new revolution in technology and automation and the digital economy, it's those that are really investing in building ecosystems and economies and cultures that welcome top talent. You can grow that talent. You can grow the businesses that will become the Fortune 500 of tomorrow. And Minnesota has always had that kind of creative entrepreneurial spirit. We actually have a great technology history as well when you look at the computer industry and all that happened in the mid-20th century there. But I would say in the past couple of decades, Minnesota's growth has not hit that pace that we would like it to be in terms of technology and the high growth companies are going to create most jobs and create the biggest growth for our economy. And we have very low unemployment in the state, which is a phenomenal advantage, and we need to be thankful for that and grateful for that. When you look at the workforce gaps that we face, they're quite significant. And when you look at the equity gap that we face in the rights of people of color, that's a big challenge for us too. And so, when you start these roles and you look at what you can do, you want to understand the problems that are going to animate your time in government. And for us, really, those challenges are threefold. First is that not all Minnesotans are sharing the prosperity of this state. And that's kind of a surprise to me coming back, because of course Minnesota has a tremendous civic background. It's a land of 10,000 lakes, and it's a land of 10,000 nonprofits. There's just a lot of people who care about their civic and cultural environment here. But it is an embarrassing fact that if you're a person of color in this state, you face severe disadvantages. Our employment rate for people of color is about twice that of whites. For the American community, it's even higher. We have the second largest income gap between whites and people of color in the country. And so there's just a huge opportunity gap, and it exists in the metro, and it exists in greater Minnesota. So that is one challenge that we have to take on from a moral standpoint, but also from an economic one. 70% of our population growth for the next 20 years is going to be people of color, so that's where the workforce is coming from. We have to get this right, and there's a lot of admiring of that problem, but I think there needs to be a lot more work on how we actually close those gaps. The second challenge I think that we face is that we face the tightest labor market that we've probably ever had in the state. There's about twice as many jobs open as there are people searching for jobs. That's true broadly across the country, but it's particularly acute in Minnesota. We've got a strong sort of boomer population leaving the workforce. We've got a lot of our dynamics at play there that create those gaps. Our educational system doesn't completely match up with the job vacancies that exist, and so we're not always producing the kind of workers that we need in roles. We hear a lot from people that at the basic high school graduation level and at the tech trade school level, we aren't producing that level of workers for the firms that we need to make our growth better. I'm sure many of you experience these dilemmas in your towns and in your cities across the state. So that workforce challenge is, I think, a really preeminent challenge for the state. And then the last one that we talk about is just growing this innovation economy in this state. And this isn't just about having a kind of fancy tech economy that feels like Silicon Valley. It's not that at all, actually. It's that when you look at what the true drivers of growth are in today's economy, it is innovation sector jobs. Jobs in which you're using technology or some new tool to do something markedly different that achieves a markedly different result. And economists tell us that jobs in those fields create about 5 extra jobs around them when they're created. So this is a growth strategy for everyone, not just for sort of the tech community, if you will. But that gap in our state and that challenge in our state is strong, and it's a highly competitive market. We talk about entrepreneurs, technology individual, people that need tech training in their workforce. A lot of times people are getting to a stage where they want to advance and they head to the coast. As someone myself who did that, headed out to Silicon Valley, worked for Google for some time, I'm acutely aware of this challenge and kind of the value proposition there. And so this is something that we have really honed in on, and it is an area that we want to focus on. And I think underlying all of that is this idea that you shouldn't have to be in a major metro area to to thrive and succeed in this economy. And I'm preaching to the choir in this one. Obviously, this is something that the coalition has long advocated for, and it's something that we think is critically important. Because I grew up in Northfield, my dad had a small landscaping business in town, and he had a shop sort of outside of town, and he built a business out of there. He since retired and sold it, and he sold it to a young family who had been living in St. Paul, but who wanted to take advantage of the lifestyle of Northfield. It's a great college town, sort of similar to Bemidji in that sense, a lot of lifestyle amenities, and just a really special place. And so Matt and Andy sold, this couple who had a furniture business, moved into Northfield and set up shop in my dad's shop, and they were building great furniture there. They're shipping it all over the country. They've got great broadband there, so it's easy. I talked to him, I said, tell me about your customer base. I said, well, last week we made 5 tables for Miley Cyrus. Those of you know Miley Cyrus, big pop star. So, they're able to build a global business in Northfield because they want that lifestyle, they want the amenities of small town life, the community, the great schools, but they have access to broadband, they have access to talent, they're able to build that business in a community like Northfield. So, I think these challenges are animated across the state in ways that are really important. One of the things that we've done indeed coming in is said, look, where are we headed as an agency? What should our department be doing to really achieve success? And oftentimes in government, you find that state agencies, we come out of the legislative session, we're handed a bunch of statutes and laws and programs we need to implement, and of course it's our job to do that and do it effectively. But you don't as often see kind of a strategic plan or vision for what the whole point of the agency is set up to do. And this varies across agencies. But for me, coming in from the private sector, coming in from a company like Google that just thrives on strategic plans, thrives on measurement, thrives on goal setting, we've tried to bring a little bit of that culture to Deed. And so we just went through a couple of month-long strategic process of saying, what's our mission, what are our values, what are our goals, and how will we measure if we're successful or not. And it's been a really thoughtful and interesting process, and a lot of great ideas from public servants that work at Deed, and a lot of good thoughts from community partners as well. And we've rehomed our mission, as I said before, just to simply be to empower the growth of the Minnesota economy for everyone. We've come with a set of values that we're going to live by within Deed. But I think most importantly, we have a set of external goals that we want to start to share with the community, and some measurements that we're going to use to see if we're achieving them to the degree that we think is important. So I'd like to share the 3 main goals that we have at Deed right now, give you some of the sense of measurement around them. We'll talk about how it applies to your work, and then we'd love to just take your questions and hear what's on all your minds as you keep thinking about the future of the coalition and of our state. So the first goal is really on workforce, and it's simply to empower the Minnesota labor market to meet the needs of business now and in the future. So that's the aspirational goal, but then how do you know if you're achieving it? And so we did a lot of work on what Deed programs, what Deed areas of focus can we leverage to meet that goal. And the first area we looked at is our career force system. We have a career force system in this state that is somewhat antiquated, if I'm honest with you. There are things about it that are good, things about it that need refreshing. We really need to modernize it, make the services really digital. We've got 50 physical career force centers across the state where job seekers come in to get help, and not everyone knows about these centers, and employers aren't flocking to them like you would like to see. You'd like to see businesses thinking, oh, this is a great place to get to work, but we're not quite there yet. So we're really taking a look at re-examining those centers and also our digital resources. We want to increase the number of job seekers using them by about 10%. That's tens of thousands of workers, so it's a pretty hefty goal. We also want to increase our job placement rates for all of our Deed programs up to 80%. I think we place around 70% now. So we're trying to stretch ourselves with these results to get to a place where we're doing better for the state. And we want to increase the number of employers who are using that system directly, the Deed system directly, to hire people by about 20%. We've got to have a business-centered workforce development system in the state. Too often, Deed trains workers, we sort of send them out into the ecosystem, and they have to kind of find jobs on their own, and so the connection between our training and businesses isn't as strong as it could be. So that's something that we really want to focus on. So workforce is the first goal. The second is to make Minnesota's innovation ecosystem a national leader. We talked about that a moment ago, but we think this is critical to the overall growth of this ecosystem. We want to put Minnesota really on the map as a place where innovative businesses, startup companies, entrepreneurs can really thrive. And so we're going to measure that in a couple of ways. One, we would like to end up on some top 5 lists nationally. There's a lot of these lists. The Milken Institute does one, the National Science Foundation does another. And it's not just a PR goal, but these lists put you on the map in a way that's really exciting. And so things like the angel tax credit we're going to bring back to the cycle are really important to say, look, investors, put your money into Minnesota's ecosystem. We'll give you a little bit of a tax credit, but get your eyes on some of the companies that are here. They're doing great and innovative work. The last year we ran that program before we started last session, over 50% of the funding that came into tech startups through that program came from outside the state, not from the investors. So it's a great, these ideas of putting us on a national map, I think, are really important. We also want to make sure that we're increasing innovation-based businesses in the state by about 25%, and we really want to lean into technology training. What we hear from businesses today is there are not enough workers who have the technical aptitude to meet their workforce needs. Indeed doesn't have any sort of technology-specific, bespoke training efforts. We do fund some through some of our grant programs. We've got to lean into this area more. There's going to be 75,000 technology jobs in the next decade in the state, and we're not yet prepared to fill them. And so we want to double the number of people we're training in tech jobs and make that a big part of what we do. And then lastly, and it's related to everything we just talked about, our third goal really is to reduce the disparities faced by populations with barriers to employment. And this is a vexing challenge for Minnesota. What does success look like here? It has to look like higher wages for the people that we train that are people of color. So we've set ourselves a goal of saying every person of color that we train through a DEED program should make $2 more an hour next year than they do this year. So we want to stretch the starting wage of people that come through our program without raising the bar of entry to that program. It's a complex task, but we're going to set ourselves towards it. But then lastly, we want to make equity not just something that like one team or one division does at DEED, but it's part of our overall culture. So we've asked every single program at DEED to come up with an equity goal in their program and a measurement to see if they can see what success looks like. It'll vary across programs, but if you don't make equity and diversity and inclusion a part of your entire culture and your entire work stream, you're just not going to achieve the kind of progress that we need to achieve. And so we're both having teams that focus on specifically, but also looking at this more holistically across the program. So these are some of the things, the goals and measurements that we want to use. Again, growing that workforce for the state, building an innovation economy, reducing disparities. That's really our focus right now, and we want the public to hold us accountable for the goals that we've set. So we're going to begin publishing these on our website, sharing them with partners. It's only through setting goals like that, giving yourself some measurement, that you can, make progress that's beyond just kind of steering the ship in the right general direction, if you will. There's a lot of strategies that lead up to those goals. I won't go into all of them. You know some of the programs that exist at DEED. I do want to highlight a couple of them. Some of them are very relevant to what we do with this community. One is the Minnesota Job Skills Partnership. It's a long-standing program we've used to partner academia with businesses and then government to create really bespoke training programs targeted at businesses. We're ramping up the funding we put into that program. We're creating a whole new technology vector on automation for small manufacturers, because what small manufacturers tell us is they want to automate, but the training effort to get their employee base sort of in the direction where they can take advantage of automation is a lot of time and money and expense, and so we want to create special grants that will help that take place. Another program I wanted to highlight is Launch Minnesota. Many of you may have seen this. It came out of the legislative session. It's going to be an umbrella for all the startup work we do in the state. So the angel tax credit is now part of Launch Minnesota. We passed $5 million in additional grants for startup education, for innovation grants to help startup companies get started. We want to build an affiliate network with places like Launchpad here in Bemidji so that entrepreneurs across the state can take advantage of these resources. And then, we talked about broadband, which is always the topic of conversation at this meeting. We were really happy to get that program back and running, another $40 million in grants for broadband, which we think is really foundational to our state's economy and to the idea that you can run a great business from wherever you are across the state, not have to move to a place with higher speed connections. And the broadband task force from the previous administrations did great work to let the groundwork here. The goal they set of 25 down, 3 up was maybe not as ambitious as we would like to set. And so we're looking at this 100 down, 20 up as a more sustainable and powerful definition of where broadband can land for the state. And this is again about opportunity for everyone. And it's not just startup stuff, right? It's any business that uses broadband. We see farmers using this in really great ways to connect to the broader commodity market. We see entrepreneurs using this to just build small businesses on Main Street. And we see telecommuters who are using broadband to work from home. And we've got all kinds of stories of people that are working in the woods and able to work for global companies because they have access to high-speed internet. And that's a really powerful thing. You can have the lifestyle that you want to have, work for a company that really only requires you to have access to the internet and create a great wage and a great life for your family. So broadband is a major focus for us too. And then, I think lastly, and I guess very relevant to this group, we really want to focus on Greater Minnesota as a priority for all that we do. And you've got a governor who comes from Mankato, first Greater Minnesota governor, a long time. Obviously, got a commissioner who comes from Greater Minnesota too. This is in the heart of who we are. You saw the governor fight for an increase in LGA. That 5% bump was good. Probably not enough, but a good start. Got us more on track to pacing with inflation, but hopefully more in the future. And you saw this with the child care work that we did. We realized in Greater Minnesota this is a particularly acute challenge where you just don't have enough child care slots. And it's not just so that people can go to work, but it's also so that their parents don't have to retire to take care of their grandkids if they can go to work. And so it's an acute challenge in Minnesota. We don't have enough slots. I was talking to Greater Bemidji this morning. They estimated there's about 760, isn't that right, Dave? About 760 slots short of child care here in Bemidji alone. You hear that story again and again across the state. So it's not what you traditionally think that DEED would do, because we're about economic growth, but you can't grow if you can't put your child someplace where you feel safe and that they're going to be okay and taken care of. And I think the Northwest Minnesota Foundation has done a lot of work on this. The Initiative Foundations have been really critical, and DEED has a program too to help these startup businesses that are beginning to create child care slots succeed and thrive. And so these are some of the strategies that will ladder up to those goals that I talked about. We are also on a mission, I think, just to make DEED a more open and transparent place. We're trying to listen a lot more, we're trying to get out in the community a lot more, holding a lot of community sessions with people and hoping that you're not just going to the usual suspects with our funding, but working with people who might not know about our programs to take advantage of them. And it's all part of, I think, a transformation in government overall that the governor has really asked us to lead, that brings people to the table to create the right solutions for the right communities. And so the work that you do every year, and the work that you do in the legislature, what you build together, the policies you advocate are critical to building that voice for Greater Minnesota. We're really grateful for that. I hope this is the first of many times I get to meet with you and learn from you all and answer your questions. And we need your help to make DEED work for the state and make it effective. It's going to take feedback and leadership from everyone in this room, not just us, in the commissioner's office down there in St. Paul. So thanks for your time today. Thanks for hearing a bit of what we're thinking about at DEED. And I'd love to hear what questions or thoughts or ideas you have for me. Thanks.
All right. Well, thank you, Commissioner. And we do have some time for a couple of questions. I might kick it off. One of the things that we do as an organization, and one of the functions that we play at the legislature is sort of that accountability piece in terms of making sure that state programs, especially at DEED, work in Greater Minnesota. And so talk a little bit about, as you're looking at measuring outcomes for DEED, how you'll measure how these programs work both in the Metro and Greater Minnesota and find that right balance.
Yeah, it's a great question. Well, coming from Google, I'm a data guy. So I always want to know the data. What percentage of our grants are going to the Metro? What percentage of our grants are going to Greater Minnesota? In the broader context here, DEED gives out a lot of money. That's like kind of what we do. Like we put grants in the marketplace. We develop economic incentives for places like Delta Dental to grow. That's a lot of what we do. It's federal money and state money. Is that money being spent fairly and wisely across the state? So we're always looking at that percent breakdown between Greater Minnesota and the Metro area. The legislature keeps us honest on that too, which we really appreciate. So that's part of it. Part of it also is making sure that our programs that have standards for applicants match the dynamics of community. So if you just have one standard for the whole state, it doesn't always work, right? Different communities have different needs, and so the criteria for a lot of our grant programs need to adjust their entry points based on whether the grantee is coming from Greater Minnesota or from the Twin Cities. So I think that kind of flexibility and then that emphasis on Greater Minnesota is really critical as well.
Very good. We'll take some questions. Julie has a microphone. Shane has a microphone. We'll go to Karen Foreman there. Let Shane get you the microphone so we can all hear your question.
Broadband has always been one of our big issues, and lucky enough to be in Mankato where we have that.
Right.
However, we recently had a company that decided to place all of its call center workers out in the community and close their office down. Good move for them. Problem was we didn't have enough broadband out in the greater Mankato area to accommodate all of that. And you talk about measuring and having goals. So in broadband, what's your measurement of your success going to be in broadband? Because that is, in my opinion, one of the really great things DEED could do is make broadband available.
Yeah,
Thank you.
it's a great question and a great example. So it sounds like they let people work remotely from their houses to do the call center work versus being based in their own locations.
Yes, I closed down the building that was doing it, put everybody out in their homes,
I
which
see.
is, a lot of them really enjoy that,
But you gotta have the access. Yeah, okay.
but, so you get the water bill and,
Right. Well, luckily with broadband, some of the goals were set for us by the task force. So the task force has asked us by 2024 to get 100% penetration of 25 down, 3 up for the entire state. Now, we did not get enough money in this session to keep pace with that goal. And we tried to. What the governor asked for was 70 million, which we did a calculation of what it would take to keep on that pace figure, and that is what it would take. And having run this grant program for 5-6 years, we have a pretty good sense of the cost structure there. So we got 40 versus 70, but it's still a start. So the 2024 goal is to get 100% penetration. For context, it took about 100 years to get 100% telephone penetration in the country. So we are moving at a faster clip. But as you all know, broadband isn't just a luxury. It's on par with having plumbing in your house. Like if you're gonna move to a new house and you're like, oh, your house is great, but there won't be plumbing. You're like, well, I'm not gonna move there. And that's what broadband is like. If not to you, certainly to your kids, right? And so it's that kind of takes that place of almost a utility in the household. So it's important. It's not just a, oh, we're 90% more good. It's got to be 100. We're bringing together, now that the grant program is up and running again, another task force. And I'm excited to work with them and help us understand some of the goals we should set. I think it's got to be faster speeds than 25.3. If you ask me, I mean, we would probably disagree with that. And we got to make sure the grant program is working really effectively in the right areas. And I think increasingly, we don't just want to talk about digging lines in the ground, which is important, but it's like, what happens next? And what is DEED helping communities do once they are connected to really leverage economic development of having broadband as quickly as possible? And you're fortunate here at Bemidji to have Paul Bunyan Communications out there by Delta Dental, who's really going to be here. This region itself is super high connected. Gigazone, I learned today, is the word that you all use for it here, which is exciting. But it's that business layer on top. Like, what happens next? That DEED needs to lean more into that layer of things, whether it's telemedicine or business development. So I think you'll see more of that come out of our work as well.
All right, we've got John Rademacher from Little Falls.
Hi, thank you. Appreciate your starting your conversations about how DEED is there to help fill the gaps and support things that otherwise aren't going to happen on their own. Childcare is an incredibly important issue for us in our community throughout in all of Greater Minnesota, and it's, I think, uniquely positioned to fill that gap, and financing is going to be an incredible important part for that. So our efforts were on both funding some of the training programs, which did get funded and get through this last legislative session. Capital is going to be an incredibly important funding source to get these facilities up and running or get supporting that. So I'm hopeful that DEED is going to be taking that on and supporting those efforts and also working through the initiative foundations because they are uniquely positioned to deliver this service. So is there any other direction or amounts that you've been looking at or goals that you've said about what you'd like to see and achieve? Because the solutions for Greater Minnesota are absolutely different than the solutions are going to be in
They are. And you're from Little Falls, is that right?
Yes.
Okay, yes, the governor was recently in Little Falls.
Yes, I was on that panel.
You were, I thought you
I sat 2 seats away from.
There you go. So, well done for the governor to come in and celebrate some of the work that's been done there. Thank you for that. I think Little Falls has done a lot of work in the childcare space to create these new businesses. I mean, so what we got, just so we know, we got $1.5 million. $750K of that is going to go to this childcare economic development grant program that we have, and then there's $750K went straight to the Initiative Foundation, which do phenomenal work in this space, for which we're very grateful to partner with them. That's not a ton of money. I'm not going to tell you that's a lot, but it is a start. I think one of the things we need to do is that when you look at the childcare profession, my mom had a daycare in our house, so I know this a little bit from her experience. It's such a passion-filled profession. Those who do it really care about the children. They really care about development and growth and education. They might not have a business background, and so like how you make that economically viable is critical. So I think it's not just the grants that help them get started, but how can our small business development centers across Minnesota help childcare providers think a little bit more like an entrepreneur, think a little more like a business, think about what scale looks like, think about what your balance sheets look like to make sure that the childcare business is sustainable for the long term. There's a lot of other thinking out there about how childcare should be done. There's those who think that the state should be building facilities ourselves, and we should be a lot more forward-leaning on the bonding piece of this. We don't have a position on that yet. Deed, again, kind of focuses on the business creation part of this, but we want to make it possible for anybody in the state who wants to create a childcare business to do so as easily as possible. You don't have to worry about the back office stuff, the kind of administrative piece of it, but just do what they do best, and you can help with the business creation part of it. So I don't think we're on pace yet to meet the need, if I'm honest with you, with that kind of funding. I don't think anybody would agree. But we've started, and this issue every year is getting louder, and I think it's going to continue to get louder. And we need your help, quite frankly, and you were very helpful during the session, by the way, advocating for this. We're going to continue to need your help to make that case with capital so that we can get more funding and do more growth.
All right, probably one or two more questions back here, and then yellow. So we're back there first. And then you're on my radar.
Thank you. I'm Deb White from Moorhead, and as you know, it's a really exciting time for Moorhead. We're having population growth and economic growth, but we're a border community, and one of the things that came up recently is that we hit some roadblocks with DEED when we were looking at applying for an economic development grant, because we see our collaborations with our partners on the other side of the river as very valuable, but in this case, when we wanted to apply for a grant, and one of the groups that we wanted to partner with happened to be on the other side of the river, even though they do a great service to our community on the Minnesota side, and we were told that we could not partner with them. And so I'm wondering if there is some flexibility there, that not only understanding that the needs of greater Minnesota differ, but also in particular of our border communities, and allow for some flexibility so that we don't lose out on those good opportunities.
Yeah. Well, first of all, I'd love to get your name and hear about the grant application process. Maybe we can grab it before we go and just dig into that one a little bit more, because that sounds frustrating. And I have to look into it, so I don't want to comment on the individual case. But it sounds very reasonable. And I would say this, that too often in government, we build systems for compliance, not systems for impact. And compliance becomes the goal, not the end impact of what you're trying to do. And that's where we've gotten after this goal-setting thing with such vigor. I know it sounds kind of wonky and a little bit data-driven, but if you don't start to think about the impact you're trying to have, then you get caught up in these compliance webs. And for government, it's very easy to see why, right? We're always under fire. It's taxpayer dollars we're spending. We need to have standards, and compliance is critical. I don't mean to say it's not, it's important. But it's a means to impact. So in my mind, again, not coming in an individual case, but if there's an element of a grant application that is somewhat unconventional, but the impact is going to be great, we should just go forward and not trip over ourselves. Now, we've got to listen to the legislature, and if they've told us this is the way it has to be, you can't go, oh, you can't break the law. But a lot of what I'm finding indeed, again, coming in as a new person, there's laws, and there's just like stuff that people have done over time because rules get piled up and systems get created. You're all laughing, you probably listen to your own governments too, right? I mean, it just happens. And so I try to ask the question why about 15 times a day. And not to be annoying, but just to really try to get to the root of it. Elizabeth's been doing this too. We both look at our teams and we're like, we're doing great work, but so why is it like this? Why is it like that? And there's oftentimes good reasons, but if you keep pulling back, you kind of get to the core thing, and you can be like, okay, let's clear some of this out. So we're going to hold today someone this year called 100 Rules We Should Kill. A nice big hackathon. And not to be glib about the fact that rules are important, of course they are, but there's just so many that aren't. And so, again, I don't know the individual case, but I would just say that we want your government to work for you and to work with impact in mind, and that's what we're trying to build at DEED. And it takes some time. You got to do it with your colleagues, not to them. But people are excited about that at DEED. I think we'll make some progress.
All right, Councilman from Bemidji here.
Mike Beard, Bemidji City Council. Just a quick opinion on minimum wage, $15. Your opinion on its effect?
Well, I would say that having a statewide minimum wage of $15 an hour makes a ton of sense. I think communities are starting to do this in ways that make sense. I think having it start at the local level is sometimes good. You can see how it's working, and I think, as you all know, you're in local communities, and you're oftentimes the incubator of good ideas that we can then see how they're going and try to scale them. So we haven't taken an official position on this, but look, we've got to have livable wage in this state. I think when you look at the workforce shortage, one of the things we always ask companies is, have you raised your wages? Are you raising your wages to get more workers? And sometimes the answer is no. And so there's complicated reasons for why. I don't mean to say it's as simple as raise the wages and more rules will come and you're good to go. But I certainly think that for anything that we do at DEED, if we're spending taxpayer dollars to create jobs, those jobs better be good paying jobs. So we have all kinds of standards for our work, usually on prevailing wage is the standard that we use, to ensure that anything we're doing is creating jobs that are really sustainable and can support a family and not just be a part-time job. One of the hidden challenges of the unemployment rate being 3.3%, which you're like, oh, that's great, we're 3.3%. Record lows, it's limited, I think it's like 2.5% or something. Is a lot of people are working like 2 or 3 jobs, they're working temporarily, so they're not, just because they're employed in some ways, I mean they're employed in the way that they want to, they're underemployed, for example. And so we've got to make sure that we're creating jobs that take care of the whole worker and take care of the whole family, and so I think the wage rate is really a big part of that.
All right, unfortunately, we're gonna have to
Okay.
wrap that.
Thanks, everyone.
Really appreciate the time.